Good to hear. Let's hope your execution matches your enthusiasm. I've got a job for you if you're looking to keep busy. Here are the details.
And good evening. Welcome back to the Soul Citizens. I'm GriffinGamingRPG, and we are back today with another continuation of our series on Shipyard and manufacturers of ships in the Star Citizen universe. And I'm here with an illustrious group of co-hosts, starting on my, what would be my right, your left. We'll start out with the man himself, FC, fastcart. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. I see you have your Banu merchantman behind you as always.
As always, well, as usual. I try to change it up, but it's been my merchantman for a while until the thing actually comes out.
Now,
hopefully, it won't be too much longer, but we'll see.
Yeah, Kelosal.
Yeah, I've been having fun this weekend because of the San Diego Comic-Con.
Wait. Before you get there, you're getting ahead of me here. Kelosal.
Yes.
Have you noticed that he never puts up that picture of the Banu merchantman with the googly eyes and the big ears? He's still holding on to that old design in the background. Is he going to have to adapt?
Well, I'm trying to deal with you, fast. I'm sorry. The moment has passed. He probably has never recaptured it. Get rid of. You'll be all right. We got some pictures for you.
Hey, it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Okay,
is that what it is? Okay. See, I didn't want to throw Jade in the mix of that because Jade, I don't know, but Jade, you know what I'm talking about, right? The googly eyes memes. Okay, he's still holding on. All right. So, okay, go ahead, FC. You were talking about Comic-Con. Go ahead.
It's been pretty fun. There's a whole bunch of Marvel stuff coming out, and some John Wick 2 and some Shazam 2, and yeah, I've been catching up on all the good stuff. I just watched Shazam for the first time last night.
Okay. Now, Jade, can you believe he talks about John Wick? He talks about Shazam. And didn't talk about what's trending.
I did say Marvel. I said Marvel.
And didn't know that's not good enough. You got to get some props on this show. It's an African-American show. You did not mention Black Panther 2.
Panther, right.
I cannot believe you put Shazam. Well, he didn't put She-Hulk in front of him because he was talking about She-Hulk yesterday. But okay, I'll cut you some slack. You said Marvel.
I would do that too, but I just said all of Marvel. Because if I thought they were going down a Marvel rabbit hole, it would be here forever and before the show even starts. And that's why I cut myself off.
All right, well, I'm going to let Jade talk about it. How are you, Jade?
I am doing well. I'm actually going to talk about Star Citizen. I've been messing around in the PTU with 120 people on a server, and it was buttery smooth on my machine. And yeah, like it's just I don't know if you haven't, anybody out there hasn't jumped into PTU, if you don't normally jump in PTUs, this would be the one to jump into just to see what the potential of the future is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about it, right? I mean, I think the biggest issue they're getting past now is the AI. But as far as, like you said, frame rate and performance, it's almost scary, to have so many people in the area. I know Kelosal, who I'll introduce next, sent us a video of morphologists with 100 and some odd people on the freaking 890 jump, Jade. So that goes to show you which ship they chose to do that demonstration on, by the way.
Right? It's starting to look like the commercial.
Yeah.
They just need to be able to remove that sculpture in the middle, and they got their dance
and
floor.
they'd be straight, right? I know. Okay.
Exactly.
You see what your boy's putting up behind him right now, Jade. Okay, so
yeah,
he's got to start.
Why are you feeding the bees? Don't feed the bees.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm going to move on. Thank you, Jade, for bringing that up. Kelosal, how are you?
I am fantastic. No, I'm not. I'm basically lying to you. I am not fantastic. And here's the reason why I do it. First of all, I'm so glad to be back on the show with you guys. Jade, love you, sister. Fastcart, I love you, brother. Griff, you know I love you. But I'm disappointed this week, Griff. And let me tell you why. This is the last full week of freedom that we will have here in the South, at least me here in Tampa, Florida, because our kids get ready to come back to school, and I'm supposed to report back August 2nd. So this is devastating for me. It really is. It's crunch time. It's devastating. So parents, hug your kids. Tell them how much you love them for a full week, because I'll have them next for 180 days in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you folks in the South, y'all start early. Yeah, other than that, but you're prepping. This is your grind time. So we know how it is when August gets here. You're getting your head and your heart all back together again for dealing with those wonderful chillin'. Them chillin'. I know you're ready for them chillin'.
The future.
That's right, the future. Yes, that's right. We got to keep them positive, right, Shada?
Actually,
he'll tell you them children. He'll
play
tell you
that
song.
Let them lead the way or whatever.
Yeah, he'll tell you.
Thank you, Raytheon. Raytheon gave me some hope. He said football season is coming up. That's right. It's close.
Okay, there you go.
Go Nose.
There you go. Okay, now I do want to go there for just a moment before we get into Star Citizen. Did all of you get to see the trailer for Black Panther?
Yes.
Are you looking forward? That's basically what I want to know. Are you looking forward? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really? Exactly.
Well, I'm just saying, sometimes trailers make you go, I don't know, so I was just kind of curious what your general. It was interesting. I had people literally sending me messages after I sent it out last night saying that it almost brought tears to their eyes watching it. So
maybe I'm just desensitized because I did not have that reaction. I was like, "Oh, cool."
Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah.
No, there were a lot,
especially towards the middle, the end part when she sat there and said, "I am queen of the most powerful nation of the world.
I've lost everything,
and I've lost my entire family. Haven't I given you everything?" That almost brought me
just pulls at you.
That was fantastic.
Well, we'll see. We are something to look forward to. November 11, I think it is. So it's something to look forward to, and we'll see. It was great to see them bring everybody back. So I'm excited to see it as well. So okay. Well, listen, we want to give out shouts to you all. Thank you all for joining us again on this Sunday and continuing in this series with us. As I mentioned earlier, this is Shipyard. We are doing Esperia, Gatac, Greycat, and also Kruger. And we'll have some cool stuff to share with you guys about these. I think it'll be interesting to hear everybody's perspective. These manufacturers are not necessarily the ones you hear about a lot, but these ships have been in the game, particularly Kruger and Aspiria. They've been in the game for quite a while. And we know that Gatac is the new blood amongst this team of folk. Let me go with start with Kelosal. Kelosal, if you had to pick which one you favor out of the four, what would be your top pick right now as far as your interest or either gameplay?
Oh, between Esperia, Kruger, and
Gatac and Greycat.
I mean, Esperia. I would say that. To answer your question specifically, I'm interested with Gatac.
Okay.
That's Xi'an technology.
That's got you going.
We'll
you're a Mist guy.
That.
Yeah, you're a Mist guy. So I know that's making your lips water a little bit. Okay, I get it. Jade, what about you? If they had to pick between the four, which one are you leaning toward?
It's there's no competition for me. It's Esperia.
Okay.
And mainly because they not only do they preserve all these old blueprints for ship designs, but then they also do research grants for xenoarchaeology. So yeah.
There's a scientist in her. There she goes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. FC, what about you? Between the four, which one do you lean toward?
It's almost a tie between Gatac and Greycat, but I'm gonna say if I had to flip a coin, maybe Greycat because I'm interested in mining more. But it depends on what else Gatac brings out. But I am hoping that Kruger brings out some more stuff too, because they're like the old blood in the bunch, but they've been stuck with two ships for a while.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna pick Kruger. I'm gonna be the one to pick that one that was left, and it's mostly because of what you said, FC. Two of their ships that have been around for quite a while. Some people like them, some people never touch them, but I'm also looking forward to what else Kruger may do in the future. I love those ships as great scouting ships for, as being parasite ships, being able to go down to a planet's surface, look around, do some scouting around and stuff, and come back up and attach. I like that idea about the ships. Plus, they can fit inside of most ships that have hangars. I just think that they're just, the fact that everybody's so used to the quantum aspects, they're just not thinking that there's any good use for them, but I personally love them. And of course, Jade, the Archimedes, that's our luxury version, so I gotta go there with that one. So
it looks good at a 890 hanger.
Yes, it does. Yes, FC.
Griffin, I do have to correct you. Parasite ship is offensive. You have to say symbiosis ship.
A symbiosis ship. Okay,
that's the PC term.
Ship. An attached ship. A ship that goes along with. Okay. All right. So matter of fact, why don't we go ahead and kick it off here? Our very first one is Aspiria. And once again, thank you guys for joining us. Let me go ahead and hopefully I'll hit the right thing to bring this up. Let's see if this switches correctly. My crazy stuff. I don't remember what I'm supposed to do here. Number 2. There we go. Alrighty, very first manufacturer will be Esperia. Let's talk about them a little bit here. Aspiria Incorporation is a human spacecraft manufacturer that adapts, reproduces, and sells existing Xeno spacecraft and weapon designs. The company was founded in 2873 by Jovi and Theo Engstrom, brothers interested in preserving spacecraft building history. Apart from manufacturing alien vessels, the company also funds several xenoarchaeology research grants through the University of Rhetor. The current CEO of Esperia is Charlotte Hussein. The company is headquartered in Cutram, Terra, and the United Empire of Earth Navy, the UEEN, makes use of Aspiria replica spacecraft for testing and for aggressor training their combat pilots. Okay. That's a little bit of the background history. Jade, you said that was one of the things that drew you in, right? The fact that the little lore of the company?
Yes. Yeah, I love that there's a company that is just like dedicated to finding, and preserving designs for it. I think the lore isn't just alien ships, but ships in general, like ones that maybe no longer in production. And from a gameplay standpoint, I like it because it gives CIG an opening to bring in, some of the ships we hear about in lore, like the Drake lobster. Just a shout out for Kelosal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask this question. The first two we're going to be talking about are Esperia and Gatac, and both of those are what we consider, or what most of us in the community call, alien ship, either making replicas or the manufacturers with Gatac. How do you guys feel? Kelosal, I'll start with FC on this one. How do you feel about the quote unquote alien tax? Does it make sense? And what I mean by that is, from the aspect of what they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do beyond consumerism. Does it bother you that the alien ships usually do have a little bit more, a couple percentage points higher in cost? Or do you think it's valid and you see it actually because of the design that they're different? Or do you think it's just straight marketing and CIG's just hitting people up for money? What do you think?
I'm okay with it because I paid the alien tax for the bandit merchantman, but I only paid $250 for it, so it didn't affect me that much. But I don't have other than the merchantman and the defender, which is $220, but we're not talking about that today. As far as the alien tax goes, I'm okay with it. Sometimes I do think it's a bit high, especially for something like a blade. But yeah, because that's a light ship, and I think it's like 2 or something.
Mhm.
I have to look it up.
Mhm.
But yeah, it can be a bit high. But I mean, some people love those ships, and I think people who probably who tend to love the alien ship
Mhm.
probably won't have that many other ships. So their fleet will probably be smaller, but they paid a bit more for it.
Okay. Jade, what about you?
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with the alien tax for 2 reasons. I think, first of all, there's a bit more that goes into, I think, the design,
Mhm.
because they have to be a bit more imaginative with alien ships.
Mhm.
So I think there's a bit more that they just do overall. When you look at the interior of, for instance, the Banu Defender,
Mhm.
if you look at like how they did materials, and then now we've seen the interior of the merchantman, that's worth paying for a slight tax for to get that kind of quality. It's to me it's no different than buying an origin ship, right?
Mhm.
Asperia was made for rich people in lore, basically collectors,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that alien tax it's not just us, it's actually like in the verse itself, in the lore of that company.
Okay. Okay. Kelosal, what about you?
I agree with both fastcart and Jade, but on the role-playing side, I mean, what a propaganda tool for the Xenothreats, right? What a propaganda tool for them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're going to role play and things like that, these are one of the things that you're going to use against the UEE and how they're price gouging his own citizens by basically saying, I'm role playing, guys, basically saying that human innovated equipment in terms of just regular human stuff like maybe Robert Space Industries are nowhere near as expensive or advanced or thought of as an Esperia with alien tech or a Shion tech like a Gatac or things like that. I mean, that's an interesting propaganda tool to make if you're role playing in game. But as far as dealing with that and purchasing these ships, I mean, some people, just like Fastcart said at the end, telling of his comment, some people are going to create nothing but an entire fleet of alien ships.
Let me you kind of went somewhere where I wanted to go, so I want you to kind of elaborate on this a little bit more, because my next question was going to be, why haven't the community taken some of these ships and literally decided to role play? Like, for example, when Xenothreat's going on, or when
I did.
No, I meant not you, because I know you've done it. I'm talking about like literally 5 Glaives show up, you know what I mean, and start attacking people. I mean, they're literally role playing out that they are freaking Van Duel or using the blade. I know Jay, you've told me that you've done it, but I'm curious as to why.
With the Defender, I had 2 other people with Defenders too.
Yeah, okay, that's good. And I'm saying we rarely see it though, right? And I know some people might think, well, the blade, I know the blade had some issues, but people who have the Glaive talked about those freaking size 5s on that thing. I have never seen a group of people flying those ships as a team. Everybody's will do a bunch of Gladiuses or a bunch of Vanguards, but I've never seen anybody say, hey, let's get a bunch of the alien ships and let's go in and do such and such. FC, what were you gonna say?
Well, hold on, because
that's right.
that was towards me, right?
Right. My fault.
Hold that thought, F, because I just want to dive in here. Maybe it's because, first of all, the Glaive and a couple of the alien ships are limited editions, limited sales. That's probably one that a lot of people probably don't have those ships. I don't have it, and every time, and I keep waiting for one of those ships to come on.
Okay.
And when they do come on, we've seen how they act at Jumptown, especially Jumptown 1. The Glaive was one of the popular ships up there because it was hitting you from a distance and with a strong firepower. Plus, as far as RP, at that time, Star Citizen wasn't in a good state for RP, or even if it was, there wasn't enough content or at least a lot of known characters to sit there and say, hey, this is what we're doing, because nobody was watching at the time.
Okay. I might buy that for $1, but I know people who used to go out and sit and just snipe people with Glaives all the time, and I guess I'm just trying to, and I get,
It's before the nerf. That's the main reason people don't use it anymore. It's no longer the meta ship it used to be.
That's true. That is true. Okay. FC, what were you gonna say?
I think it's because it's a niche market or a niche place right now.
Okay.
The game is still in alpha,
Mhm.
and when we get more systems and more people, I think they'll probably congregate more. But I think it's coming, but the game isn't really out there at a place where it can support that much. And well, I mean, there are people who do it now, but I think as the game comes along, there'll be a lot more.
More people that'll do it. Okay. All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and jump into some of these ships here. Ops Chief's already dropped the link in for the Blade. Let's talk about that one first. Let's see, we go from here to here. Vandul, Light Fighter, Designated Blade are often used as scouts and first wave assault craft. Over the decades of conflict, they have been increasingly used to take out comm arrays and early warning systems. They've also served as skirmisher units, as the speed allows them to chase down ships attempting to flee. If engaged, expect the Blade to utilize its speed and agility to wear down your defenses. Just recently, they did some work on this ship. In fact, they toughened it up a little bit. I think they also matched the speed to it so that it moves at the same speed as the Gladius, which evidently was slower before. Just real quick, I want to go through everybody. Do you own one? Have you flown one? That's the two questions. Let me start with Kelosal.
I've flown one. I do not own one.
What was your feeling about flying it?
I mean, I loved it. I mean, of course, I have to get used to the red interior. I don't like red lights. I don't. That's part of the reason why I didn't buy a Pontiac when it was available. But other than that, I mean, a great vehicle. This is before I was driving. I was flying the ship a lot before the rework.
Okay.
That they put in there. So. Of course, doing the rework, I flew a lot. It's got no SEU, one person, 290 MS when it comes to speed. They afterburners will give it at least 1240. So about as fast as a Gladius, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I haven't flown it since. I don't know what it's like with this new flight mechanic.
Okay, gotcha. Jade, how about you?
I don't own one. I think I've maybe flown one maybe a total of 3 times ever. I do like the red lights. They're kind of bright too, if I remember. Which is, that's hard for ships in Star Citizen to have bright lights, right? So I'll take that. I haven't flown it since they matched it up to the Gladius, so I probably will if I ever get a chance to. Again, if like I see one in PTU or something.
Okay. FC, how about you? Own one? Have you flown one?
I do not own one. I don't believe I've flown one. But as far as the red lights go, you can develop some photography in there. They're so bright in there. So yeah, that's one advantage. The other thing, if you don't like the red light, just call Roxanne.
Okay. Both of those predate some of the people in this room with us right now. You know that, right? You know, Jade, that went right past Jade, right? Jade, did you catch any of that?
He said something about somebody named Roxanne.
Okay, and I know she definitely don't know about the first part.
I don't know if I
don't
should
even worry
ask
about
for
it.
anything any further.
No. I'm glad you said that because I just wanted you to remind him. Just so you know, Jade, he went all the way back to dark rooms, okay, before digital photography, and then proceeded to tell a police song from the 1980s. So I just want you to know that's where he went, okay? All right. So.
Yeah, like all I heard was like Roxanne in a dark room.
People in chat got it.
Yeah, it's more old heads in there in the chat room too. All right. Let's go to the next one here. We talked about a little bit the Glaive. The Glaive is a symmetrical version of the Scythe, generally flown by Vandul and with more combat experience. They are better armed and have 2 huge blades, wings, as opposed to the one on the standard Scythe. This model is a human reproduction created by the manufacturer Esperia. I think is that one of the features that people don't know about in relation to the Vandul ships? Do they think that's just decorative? Jade, let me go to you first on this one. Do you think that people just think those things are decorative and don't understand that they're actually a part of the tactical combat of Vandul?
I think new people probably think that because like they weren't around when the Glaive could like slice through a ship with the blades. That was back in 2.5, 2.6.
Yeah.
So anybody that's like joined, I think, since like 3.2, I think was when that no longer functioned that way. They probably just think it's for decoration, but eventually it's going to have that functionality again.
Yeah, it used to be a pain in the butt when if they got too close to you, you knew what was going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, FC, did you know that about the actual blades that extend out? You did? Okay, you remembered. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing Jade said. I don't think new people know, but I think when they were first coming out, that's the ISC, or back in the day, around the verse, that's one of the things they said about the ship.
I remember there was a really salty chat once in-game chat where someone was complaining about they were in a dogfight and somebody was in a glaive and they rammed them. And they said, oh yeah, ramming. And they're like, that's a valid technique with this ship. It was built to do that.
It was. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But they didn't know.
They don't know that those wings are reinforced deliberately, like you said, to take you out. You don't want them to hit you because they will slice your ship up pretty bad. Kelosal, what about you? You ever have any engagements with remember the scythe in this one back in the day? Even in Arena Commander, you had to be careful with these things getting too close to you.
Yeah, in Arena Commander, I was making sure that I targeted his wings because that was the first thing I wanted to slice off. And in game, this was when, this ship was sold in August 2015 during a promotion campaign. And this is when I didn't know how to fly. I used to jump in the ship and ram people with the blades on purpose because I didn't know how to fly well. So I was like, screw it. I'm not going to joust you, I'm just going to run into you.
Yeah.
And that's what I did with this ship. So I can see how people got upset, but yeah, a lot of people still hate. Even when Jumptown came up, a lot of people hated this ship. Whenever this ship was spotted, a lot of people was like, "Get the Glaive, get the Glaive,
okay,
go for it."
Yeah.
So yeah, this if this ship goes to where it should go, this will be a formidable ship in the game.
Yeah.
If they could buff it back to what it was, I think more people would fly it.
Oh yeah,
because I used to own one. It's in buyback now, but
yeah, they're going to make the
they bring it back
formidable.
to its greatness. I will definitely consider buying it up again.
Absolutely, absolutely. Fastcart, what did you think about? When we watched this, both the blade and the glaive. There's an image of the old version and the new version. What are your thoughts on it? Do you like the newer version or do you like the older one better?
I like the new version of both of them. These are two sets that I definitely do like the rework on. So I think CIG did a great job on the rework.
Jade, how about you?
Yeah, the rework is much better than the current ship that's in the game now. So I look forward to the rework.
Yeah. Kelosal, I'm throwing a different question at you. Some people say that when we have these reworks and there's a drastic change in them, they're in some ways asking, can CIG maybe allow original versions of ships to still exist in the verse? Pro and con to that? Don't care about it? Yeah, it would be nice. Or if it goes, it just goes and we get the new version. What do you think? And particularly on ships where it's a drastic difference, because there is definitely a big difference in the design on this particular one. Mad Style, thank you for the gift.
Mad Style,
thank you.
Thanks,
as
Mad
always,
Style.
thank you so much.
Thanks for the subscription.
Look, if I was thinking about CIG's pockets, I would do it. If I was thinking about CIG's pockets, and secondly, because first of all, you're allowing a next gen and a previous generation to be both in the game at the same time. Imagine that, right? Imagine you got a Mach 1. I mean, how many versions of the RSI Connies that we've seen, right?
Yeah.
I think we're at Mach 4 now, Mach 4, something like that.
Yep.
So imagine, I don't see why they would not have a previous generation. Who was that, Griff?
That was Mad Style. I'm sorry, that was Isle
Thanks, Mad Style.
That was Isle Spartan and Mad Style both gave 5 subs. Thank you guys so much. Isle Spartan,
again.
Thank you again.
Hey, thanks for the subscription.
So the answer is yes. I think they should have, if they're going to build another generational ship, they should have the previous ones on sale along with another generation.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Allow players to enjoy both the old and the new, and they get to say, "Hey, I have both," or I just decide to go ahead and keep myself updated. You can upsell. I mean, not upsell, but you can go ahead and update your ship and maybe sell it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a type of person that you like the old and the new, then you could keep going with that generation. Some people may just build their fleet with just one company.
Yeah, I kind of do want that, but I mean, I probably I probably would do it down the line, not immediately, because that's a lot of work. Because the reason why, one of the reasons why they do the redesign is because the metrics don't work. So yeah, I definitely want to see it down the line, but it doesn't have to be immediate for me.
Well, here's
Yeah, I agree with fastcart. I don't think it should be something they immediately do. And one of the reasons that we get these, upgraded ships is because they've just gotten better at making ships and making them more efficient on the servers and on your GPU. So they wouldn't want some of these old ships to hang around, just like they eventually will replace Port Olisar because of old assets that are like just clogging things, right?
The technical side of it is the issue,
yeah,
right?
so when we get to the point where they're beyond that stage, and then they can say, okay, yeah, this is a Mark 5 or 4 Connie. You can keep that, or you can upgrade it to Mark 5.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because Gutbot mentioned something funny in chat. He said, "Yeah, imagine the people who, if they've got the old one, they have to buy the new one to get the rework if they had to do that, right?" And I wish, and I understand the sentiment behind some people because they buy the ship, they like that design, they actually prefer that design over it. But I think it's not the aesthetics is the argument, like you said, Jade. It's more the technical side of it. Will the ship run efficiently? Maybe they even, like Kelosal mentioned it. If you guys remember back when they did the Connie, remember they talked about how much they were able to reduce the pixel size by the time they got to Mark IV. It was some crazy amount of pixels that they reduced it down to. I wish I knew what the number was, but it was something like from millions.
Polygons, yeah,
it was like the polygons rather. I think it was something like from the millions down to like 100,000 or 200,000.
It was, yeah, it was like millions. Right. I think that was Josh Kuhn who worked on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the Mark 3 or 2.
Yeah,
but I think part of that was on purpose to test the engine of Star Citizen. But I may
it was also the advancement of the technology though. And so that is the hang up. And I like I said, I understand the sentiment. I agree with Kelosal. Boy, it would be cool. Someone even mentioned in real life, just because a new car comes out, you don't get rid of the old ones, they still exist. But we do have the technical standards that has to be maintained in some form. So Infamous Eagle.
Famous Eagle Lee, thank you for the follow-up. But I do want to say, for the rework versus the old model, how about like putting these ships on like an installment plan of like 24 months? That way, at the end of 24 months, you can easily upgrade to the latest model.
You're talking about a lease?
Yep.
Please.
You see, I can be current, Griffin. I can be current because that's something they still do now.
Yeah, they still do leases. I will grant you that. Okay, we're gonna go from the Van Duel world and we're gonna go over to the Tavarn world and talk about the Prowler. Named after the UPE military designation, the Prowler is a modernized version of the infamous Tavarn armored personnel carrier. Asperia's astro engineers were given unmitigated access to study original versions of the ship recently discovered in the Cabal system to help meticulously reconstruct the vehicle. Now, the Prowler is the perfect fusion of two cultures, the elegance and effectiveness of the Tavarn war machine combined with the reliability of modern human technology. Let me go to Jade here first. Jade, thoughts about the Prowler?
I don't own one. I think it's a really cool design. I think it's like one of the coolest design dropships in the game. I don't see them that often either. Like I think this is going to be another one of those ships that when you see one, it's you're gonna be like, wow, that's a rare thing to see. But yeah, I like it. It's good to have multiple dropships in the game. Not everybody wants to fly like the same ships, right? So like having an alien drop ship.
Were you going to say Cutlass Steel? Is that what you're going to say?
I was, and then I thought better of it. And I was like, nah, I'm not even going to bring that out. But yeah, not everyone wants to fly Cutlass Steel. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Kelosal, what about you with this ship?
I take a pass because I don't fly the ship at all.
Okay.
It's just I am not a person who likes to go ahead and just drive the ship and say, "Okay, guys, jump." I'll see you in a couple minutes. I am not that type of person. I want to be hands-on. Because my role is going to be limited with this ship. It's a great ship. If you like a stealth ship, I mean, when I first flew her, she was fast.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: what do you think about the whole the way they've what they came up with for design for Tavaran design, you know, the whole avian kind of design, the bird look. What did you think about that? Do you think they did a good job with it?
Yeah, I apologize. I thought it was transcending. I thought it was the design, the architect on it, the nest type design reminded me of what is it Tokyo or Japan, the stadium that they called the Bird's Nest.
Oh,
it reminded me of that when they built it for the Olympics. I thought it was transcending in video games because I don't think I've seen that type of design in a ship in game.
Interesting
I
point.
also like the idea that, like, if you were a species that evolved from birds, of course, like you're going to design your flight vehicles to be like bird-like, right? Because like you feel like, hey, you know, we're birds, we're descended from birds.
For flight, yeah,
birds are
flight.
superior, so let's make a bird design for these ships. Makes sense.
Thank you, Blue Z. That was China. He said the Bird's Nest in China.
Yeah, China. Yeah, for the Olympics. Yeah. Fastcart. I was surprised at this ship. I'm gonna give you a quiz here. Let's see how much you know about the Prowler. Do you know how many people it holds? How many people can be seated on it?
I want to say 24.
Wow, that's pretty high. Actually,
12.
Okay. No, it's okay. No, it's a good guess. It's a good guess because I had it wrong. I thought that the ship, I'm so used to seeing it when you get on it, that there are 4 seats on one side and 4 seats on the other. So I thought, oh, it's got 8 jump seats, and then there's like the pilot and the gunner co-pilot area. So I said, okay, it's got like 10 seats. Then I got in there and found out it actually has 16. I didn't realize that there are seats that are, because of the design of the ship, like Kelosal was saying, it's got this like interesting avian bony architecture inside. But when you go, there are 4 more seats in another section of the ship that I didn't even recognize that were there. And so I'm like, wow, this thing is just a few sheets short of what the Anvil, what's the Anvil ship? What's the Anvil drop ship? The drop ship.
No.
The Valkyrie. The Valkyrie. Yeah, the Valkyrie. Yeah.
Valkyrie.
I thought it was like almost half of the Valkyrie, but it's only 4 sheets short of the Valkyrie. I'll go with the Valkyrie Jade instead of the steel. So, but I didn't know that about it. Have you been on the Fastcart, this particular ship?
Yeah, I'm a Kelosal on this one. I have been on it. I haven't flown it. Haven't checked it out. But I do love the design on the Tavaran feel, and especially like the interior cockpit, how it lights up in the cockpit. I do want to see that on other ships, but we probably won't get that. But yeah, the gameplay and the game style is not my cup of tea. But I'm hoping to see other type of ship like this one.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, the Prowler is the ship that they need to figure out something for the Valkyrie, even though it's not about the Valkyrie. But the good thing about this ship, Kelosal, is that it does have air shields on it. So you've got air shields at the rear door, you've got air shields at all of the exit points, so that you can have your helmet off and be inside of this ship. This ship was also nerfed, if I'm remembering correctly. I think there's a size 4 or 5 cannon on the top of it, and that got nerfed. And that's another reason why back in the day a lot of people were flying it, and then when that happened it got pulled back some. So but again, one of the special things about this ship, that a feature that we haven't seen, is its levitation, or not levitation, what's it called? It's a Gravlev system that is built into it. It's designed so that it can fly very low to the ground and approach in a very stealthy way. We see the Gravlev modules on it, but that has not been implemented yet. So I'm curious to see whether greater excitement grows for this ship once that gets implemented into the game, that this thing can skirt over ground, below radar, and drop people off and do what it has to do. So any other thoughts on the Prowler before we move on? Okay, nobody's got anything. Let's move on next. We're staying with the Tavaran. Last one here for the Esperia will be the Talon and the Shrike. This ship is a recreation of the Tavaran Talon by Esperia. The Talon is the Tavaran equivalent to the Aegis Gladius or Vandal Blade, a single-seat combat ship. The Talon is the perfect example of the Tavaran way of building a spaceship. Maneuverable and powerful, directional phalanx shields, but weak physical armor. As the Tavaran way of war goes, war was to strike first and strike hard before using their phalanx shields to cover the escape. As you guys know, that there is a difference between these two ships. The Talon is the fighter, the Shrike is the bomber, and they both are designed to complement each other. meaning that the fighter is more powerful in the area of fighting, but it loses out a little bit on the defensive or the offensive side other than fighter. And same thing when you flip to the bomber. When you go to the bomber, it's more about the bomber, but the guns and stuff in it are not all that great. So let me go to FC. FC, the Talon. Flown one, got one, want one.
No,
Not your cup of tea.
not this one, but this is the cockpit I was talking about earlier. I do love this, but yeah, I don't own one, unfortunately.
Okay. Jade, how about you?
Yeah, I do own one because I think I won one on Solstice before I was.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
Back in the day.
Back in the day when I kept winning chips. But yeah, I do love the Talon. I think it could be better, but I love the look of it. I love the skins that are available for it. I love the whole idea of having a view outside of the ship that's not through diamond laminate glass. That it's a simulated or not simulated, but projected. The outside in. I think that's something that's unique to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it.
Cool. Kelosal, I know you did some research on this. Why don't you explain this whole thing with these special shields and how these ships are supposed to attack when they do? Because they mentioned about coming in fast, coming in hard. Could you give some background to folks that may not know a little bit about this ship?
Okay, so a lot of people just, including me, I mean, I'm not an expert, but we're talking about the shields. What are those shields called again?
Phalanx shields.
Thank you, the phalanx shields. So my hope was that if you've seen, oh my gosh, what's that movie? The movie with the little dude whose father is a god and he's a god now, and the guy with the gun, and he's not a superhero, but he can be a superhero. I can't remember his name. They made a game after him. The guy that was the enemy was friends with Thanos, and Thanos killed them. What's that dude? What's that movie?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Thank you. Sorry, I spent so much time on it. But Guardians of the Galaxy, I think of the phalanx shield like that. The phalanx shield. Imagine if you have these ships are supposed to be, in my opinion, it's supposed to be flying in a flock.
Groups.
Okay, a huge group, and they could. And I'm just theory crafting here, they could all go in first with the ability to go ahead and bombard using the Talon or the Shrike and go ahead and throw out missiles or bombs or whatever you need to do. And they could bring in the fleet. And as they're bringing in the fleet, with them being in the front, the phalanx shields could kick in and could possibly connect with each other, or it protects the entire front of the ship and the rear of the ship, just in case if they're leaving. Because just like birds, just like if you ever seen a hawk goes down straight down, and a hawk has enough capability to go ahead and just come right back up, snatch a spray and come right back up. Go ahead, Jade.
I was gonna say, I think it's this one. It may be the Prowler though, but I remember reading some lore that they had a distinctive sound, like when there'd be a bunch of them, that you'd hear like this sound. I hope they add that sound effect, like it's like howling. It's like supposed to be really kind of like unsettling, because you know that they're coming when you hear it.
There are some now in game. If you play, I played it as recently as last weekend.
Okay.
And there are some major SFX differences, so you might want to go ahead and jump in those ships and check it out.
Nice.
Because they have changed some things around with that. I think they're gearing exactly towards what you're saying, Jade.
Okay.
That's a good observation.
Wow.
And so, but I really do think that those phalanx shields are provided. They got weak armor, guys. I mean, if you get through those shields as it stands right now, you can pretty much tear apart a Talon. But if they get around you, a Talon has a size 2 or size 3 guns, I believe. They can go ahead and get you, and the Shrike has multiple missiles that they can go ahead and shoot, and that's shoot from that small ship. If they had a substantial missile load with a stock like that, they can really nail or penetrate whatever they want to go ahead and immobilize, and then get out of there and still be protected. They could protect an entire front fleet, allowing the fleet to go in without being hit.
Let me ask a question. Now, and whoever wants to answer this can, because there's something Kelosal saying. Do you think players will start to understand or get it, for lack of a better term? In other words, Yeah, it's a pretty ship. Yeah, it's a fast ship, but it is truly designed to go in as a squad. It's intended to go in 4, 6, 8, all combined together and laying, sending hell down. That's the purpose of the ship. Yeah, you can dogfight, but we all know that it's got weaknesses to it. It's not a dogfighter per se. If you have to defend yourself, obviously, yeah. But do you think that people will start to understand that some of these ships actually have a certain tactical strategy into how they're designed? And do you think players will utilize that? Will people say, hey, let's get 5 talons, let's get 8 talons, and let's go in and hit that base or whatever? Or do you think that they'll just still grab whatever ship they like and go for it?
The latter. I think they'll just grab whatever ship they like and go for it. Maybe if they have an org thing, like an organized org, they can do stuff like that. But I think people are more individual. Like, how many people? What the percentage of the game currently are lone wolves? And I think that's a big percentage. So yeah, I don't think they see it that way.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you're not a lone wolf, even when people get together and play, I very seldom hear people talk about a coordinated effort of how they're going to put their ships together. The most you hear them talk about is, do you want me to bring my so-and-so? You know what I mean? And that's usually for capacity reasons more than tactical reasons. And I'm just kind of curious. There are a lot of ships in the game that are designed from a tactical standpoint. And I'm just curious, do you think that will be one of the things that players will start to understand and maybe monopolize and manage better so that they have a greater advantage? I think if they do that, they'll, it's kind of like the right tool for the right job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's what I think. But I'm wondering whether players will do that or not.
I think they'll do it in the future, but not so much now.
Not now.
But
until those
guess.
Mechanics are in. Okay. All right.
I'm
Cool.
also curious, Griff, to know their thoughts on the ejection.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Ships,
Talk about it a little bit.
because they don't eject the way you see a normal ship. They don't go up or they don't go down. They go straight out, and they go straight out with the pilot still in the seat to a certain distance, and then the pilot is ejected from the actual cockpit. So I'm interested on what their thought was from that. Will they use that as a bombarding tool? Will they use it as a drop? Once they've done what they're supposed to do, because remember, they do have weak armor, they do have phalanx shields. If you get through that phalanx, will they be able to use that? Imagine if you had 12 of those ships coming in, and then all those ships went ahead and just immediately used that ejection sheet, and everybody just went straight. If they were flying, horizontally instead of vertically. Imagine for them to go ahead and just immediately get to that area really quickly with just that ejection mechanic.
Interesting.
So it's going to be interesting to see what their train of thought was.
So you're
with
wondering
that.
whether it's something beyond just the emergency use of, your ship's going to blow up, but there's some actual tactical advantage to using it.
I'm hoping so.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Well, that covers the good old company of Esperia. Let's go ahead and jump into our next one, which is Gatac. And I think FC, that one's on you.
Yep. Go Gatac. Manufacturer is Dion. I can't even pronounce that last one. But it's a manufacturer of commercial and industrial spacecraft and vehicles which are usable by humans and Xeon. Its headquarters are located in the Tetlia and in the Hoyoten system. Why? This is why you threw me this, girlfriend.
No.
Anyway, so the company has a reputation in the Xeon Empire, so Xeon, for producing cutting-edge and reliable cargo ships. After the 2947 Human Xeon Trade Initiative, HUSA, went into effect, the company began funding research to create spacecraft adapted to the needs of both Xeon and human. It is expected to unveil the fruit of its labor in the early 2950s. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about this ship. This is one of the more recent manufacturers that got introduced, and it seemed like when this ship came out, surprisingly, for it to be a cargo freight ship, it took the community by storm, for lack of a better term. People got excited about it. I don't know if it was the alien aspect or design or what, even though
Oh.
there wasn't a lot. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of information out about it. People had a lot of questions. You know, do those cargo containers, are they external? Do they separate? Are they shielded? Blah 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 blah. Jay, do you know any of the? And I know you. Well, hopefully you do, because I know some of it. Do you know that background lore for this particular company of Xi'an? Because they're it's a little tweak to it, right? They're a little bit different for Gatac.
Yeah. So so Gatac, they are obsessed with ship design, and they send their people to every kind of like ship design conference. It doesn't matter if it's like high level or just low level. They want to stay up on whatever ship design, state of the art, and anything that's new that might pop up from somewhere, or that they look at everything. So they're like obsessed with ship design. They have a special like deal with the whole Xi'an Empire, that they basically give their designs away to make big cargo ships for the Xi'an Empire. The human Xi'an Huxa trade initiative, that's the reason that Xenothreat attacks Stanton. And is attacking the UE. So this company is partially responsible from their standpoint for why they are doing what they're doing. But yeah, it's interesting. I think the reason the community reacted to this ship the way they did, even though it's a cargo ship, it is just what you see here. Like the way it's designed is unique. Somebody might want to run cargo. They don't want to have a Caterpillar or C2. They'll use this, it's vertical. It's not horizontal. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Okay. FC, when you saw this, you mentioned about there was kind of a combination of the design and some other stuff. What were your feelings about the Gatac when we see the ship?
Well,
Raylan.
first of all, I just want to say a lot of people in chat are throwing shade to this ship, and I'm surprised because I see a lot of shade, but I like the design and the coolness of it, because there's a lot of moon features and grav lift, and I think the elevators and everything was different. So I like the design. I didn't get one. I'm probably going to get one in game, but I didn't get one for the sale. But people are Gomab was comparing it to the Freelancer, and I think this one holds more cargo than the Freelancer. I might be mistaken about that, but it is more expensive. It does have that alien tax on top of it, but I do like the design. I was this close to getting doing a concept sale.
Okay. I'm going to jump to Kelosal here, Mr. Xi'an Misk design engineering guy. What are your thoughts on this one?
I love the ship. I'm disturbed with the history of it, considering the fact that those people who created this, who gave them the patent, did unintentionally poison their atmosphere. I mean, and that they are still, and they gave the manufacturing to them, the ruling family in the first place. So, I mean, the history is quite interesting. But for them to specifically stay on the manufacturer side, especially vehicle manufacturing, industrial spacecrafts, and industrial vehicles, shows their commitment to wanting to run this part of the industry using Xi'an technology. So it shows that, I mean, when you look at the ship, and when we tried to tear this ship apart when we first looked at it, because we were interested in what else it could do when the ship came out. So I know a lot of us were foaming at the mouth when we were waiting for the Q&A to come out on this ship.
Right.
So a lot of us went ahead and purchased the ship just in case if it didn't pan out, we would go ahead and put it back in buyback and use that money for something else. So, but I kept mine, and I love exactly what it's supposed to do.
So let me ask you this, because this has come up in chat a little bit. Is this just because it's a foreign design that people don't like it? Is it because we don't understand the design? Is it the fact that CIG may be doing something with the ship that we don't know about? Or is it they just made something that looked cool, but functionality wise, it sucks? Now, before you answer, it is a large ship. First of all, it's much bigger than it looks. It is really, really big. I wish I had a comparison thing here, but it is not a small ship. It's cargo containers, and this was, I remember in the Q&A, it came up about being able, do they disconnect from the ship? And the answer was no, they do not. But they do hold standard cargo units inside of them. As you mentioned, Kelosal, there's a lot of here with the technology, a lot of non-moving parts that look very, very cool. It has this starfish front. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when we go to other ships like the Kartual, the Suntakiai, we know that the reason why those ships are designed is because they do perform better with a very good pilot. They turn sharper, they're very fast. There is some reason why they look the way they do. Do you think that maybe with this one, all we have is concept? Do you think that maybe CIG has designed this and maybe there's something later on that we'll find out, wait a minute, this just isn't just some normal cargo ship. It does such and such.
I think CIG is a very good question. I think CIG is diving into the cargo industries with the Xi'an tech. I think they're letting us know that this could be the Xi'an line. Now the question is, are we going to see a whole C version in a Gatac? You know, I think they decided to go ahead and say, listen, we don't. This is the first ship that we're going to use. We're going to make it an industrial for Gatac. It has Xi'an technology. It's got the Glaive. It's got different type of cargo that specifically looks like it's just for Gatac and Xi'an. So I think this is a blueprint. Just like the Defender was a blueprint for the Merchantman, I think this is a blueprint for Xi'an technology dealing with their industrial side cargo and carrying.
That's an interesting.
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go bigger. They may go smaller, but we'll see. Maybe they'll do both.
This is.
Well, they have to. She has 320 SEU worth of cargo. She can carry that much, and she carried 4 people. So you honestly can fly it with one. So I mean, if you think about it, you know. So you're right. It's gonna be interesting, fastcart.
Yeah. I'm curious about the design. It has a very unique design. I mean, don't get me wrong, it has a lot of cool factors to it, all the floating seats and all the other stuff. But I'm, like you said, Kelosal, I'm wondering whether or not this is going to be that start for what it means to have a Xi'an ship. Because right now, like for example, this ship in particular is one of the few ships that actually shields its cargo area. It has shields specifically just for the cargo area on it.
As opposed to the hull.
Yeah. Well, it has. I mean, it does have hull too, but it has specifically. It has some for that back area of the ship. And I'm curious.
As opposed to the whole series, I mean, as opposed to the whole
series. The whole series. I thought you meant the whole of the ship. Yes, as opposed to the whole. Yeah, and again, that starfish design in the front. Why is it so big up there? What is it about that?
Is she a blockade runner? Can she be a blockade runner?
Yeah.
She has a tractor beam. She has size 4 turrets and several missiles. 2x8s, 2x2s.
And two gun turrets, right?
Yes.
They're left and right.
Manned gun turrets, so size 3 power plant, size 3 coolers, size 3 shield generator. She's a beast.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah.
So it's going to be. I mean, look at that. Look at how she transforms. Obviously, that's when she's landing. But I think they're giving us a vision of Xi'an ships, Griff. Okay. I really do.
Okay.
I mean, Robert Rose made an interesting. I don't know if you heard someone say this, but he said that it replaced the BMM as a blockade running trade ship. That's what he said. That could be. Yeah.
It could be because, like I said, it is a fairly large ship in comparison to some of the others, like the Freelancer and other ships. Jade, did you have any thoughts on this before we move on?
No, other than it would be interesting to see. You said, do you think CIG has anything else in mind for it? I'm thinking, maybe when you're in Xi'an space, if it will pay to have a Xi'an cargo ship in some way, like with reputation or something. I mean, that's about the only thing I can think of as far as something that we haven't heard yet.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. All right. That covers the good old Raylan for those of you who are interested in the Raylan. Let's see. I think the next one is on Jade with Greycat Industrial.
Yes. Greycat Industrial is a manufacturer for vehicles, ship, and vehicle components and personal equipment. Greycat Industrial is a manufacturer. Twice.
Oh, it's in there twice? It's double. Yeah, it's a double repeat. Oh, my God.
Right. That one slipped by me. At Greycat, we understand that mining, this is for the rock, isn't a one-size-fits-all operation. So we designed the rock to be as hardworking and versatile as the miners who use it. Small enough to access hard-to-reach ore deposits, but with enough power to get through the tough jobs. The rock perfectly complements any mining enterprise. it's perfectly at home supporting full-scale operations and a first-rate starter vehicle for fledgling diggers. Whatever the task, the Greycat, with Greycat, you have the right tool for the job.
Do you own one? Have you driven one?
Yes, as recently as last night in PTU, just to see if mining was, rock mining was viable in 3.17.2.
And your answer is?
It is.
Okay.
There's some sort of weird things I experienced, but it may be unique to the way my controller is set up. But yeah, I mean, rock mining, is one surefire way to earn money in the game if you just don't want to be bothered with anybody. You just go out on some moon and you just start, you take your rock out, you drive over to the stuff you scanned from your ship, you mine it, and then you sell it. It's very, very simple gameplay loop, but it's a good way to earn money if you have one.
Yeah. Kelosal. A lot of people love getting a rock, throwing it into the back in the day, the first thing was throwing it in the back of a Cutlass Black. Then people started throwing it into the back of the Nomad. That's one of the ships.
Try to put it in a 400.
Blasphemy, straight blasphemy.
Right.
One of the issues though with this, Kelosal, you and I have seen this. There are plenty of piracy videos out there. When you're out there in that rock and you can only see one direction when you're out there by yourself, you're kind of vulnerable to pirates. I don't know. Is that kind of mining cool to you, or do you think it's good to go out with somebody that kind of watch your back when you're out there rock mining?
No, better have your logistics in order.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to do that, obviously you're going to go ahead and have your logistics in order to where you're going to be protected. You may have a mercenary group come out there and help you out. There are people, we've seen people out there have some people in ships fly around and scout out just the sites. For them to go ahead and quickly get to it while they're hovering around looking for the next site, or they're hovering around for protection. So yes, you're going to have that. I mean, we saw somebody was looking at Salty Mike's escapade he had about a week ago, and there was a guy out there mining, and Salty Mike came in and helped him out, and I guess the guy went ahead and shot Salty Mike because he said, "Hey, I know you," and he shot him for whatever reason possible, And and Salty Mike's like, well, the dude was actually mining. Salty Mike helped him out by blowing up an NPC, and Salty Mike came down, and the dude said, "I know you," and shot Salty Mike. He was unarmed and things like that.
What you're saying is that dude just mined some salt.
Right. He mined some salt, and that salt was really salty after the fact.
For some reason, it sounded better when you said it. I know for some reason it sounded better. I don't know. Here's the fast card effect. Okay.
So so yes, the answer to your question is if you want to go ahead and go solo, then fine, you can go ahead and do that. Just make sure that you're in a remote area where nobody is around.
Yeah, that's where, as a former pirate, I'll just say to people, don't be lazy and mine their outposts. That's the worst place you could possibly mine, because people are going to be constantly going in and out of there. And just find a remote part of a moon. Go there. The chances you'll be found are very low. So make it easy on yourself.
And stop telling people your areas of mining.
Yes, exactly. Don't tell people. Let's say you want them to come for you.
Don't say in local chat that you are mining.
FC,
Can I just say?
Go ahead.
Can I just say about this commercial is that I love this commercial. This is one of my favorite Star Citizen commercials of all time. So this is a great commercial.
Yeah, it's also a heartbreaking one for me, and you know why. I'm still a little upset about this particular commercial because CIG told us that there won't be any kids, and I wanted to. I wanted to have a family in the game, but well, so much for that. All right, let's go to the sister or the brother of this one, the Rock DS.
Gotta get used to AI.
Right.
There ain't no baby AIs in this game. I'm sorry. You get me started.
You can have one of those.
Well, that's what I wanted. I wanted them. They couldn't be hurt. I just wanted, if you had a homestead, you could come home and there's a kid walking around. They ain't got to go outside. But some of these I won't say what
You
type
ever
of people
saw
they
that
are.
show,
They'll be killing all the
Expanse, with-
kids.
starring Halle Berry, where they have the robot kid? Like,
Oh,
maybe they could do that.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Addison's got to make
Griffin
that
wants
happen.
Fable in space. That's what he wants.
Yeah,
He
we'll
wants
see.
to-
All right,
So
we'll go to the
Rock
DS.
DS, with more than double the ore capacity of the standard Rock and a dedicated boom seat for manual laser operation, the Rock DS makes big jobs manageable. It's the perfect complement to any mining enterprise, from full-scale digs to fledgling operations. Whatever the task, with Greycat mining duos now have the right tool to comfortably collect more ore.
FC.
I have an issue with this.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
that word
That's why
comfortable
I'm going to
is a
go to FC
misnomer.
first. Go ahead, FC. Any thoughts about the Rock DS, the dual seat?
I'll probably just get the Rock over the DS. When it first came out, I was like, oh, okay, it's interesting, but it wasn't for me. And I'll probably get it when the game launched. I didn't pick.
All right, but
spend
no
money on
DS
it.
for you. You're just going to stick with the Rock. Okay, Jade.
Rock,
What about
yeah.
you? DS. Let's hear what you got.
Yeah, like I feel the same way about this. Many people feel about the Cutlass still. Like there, so that mining seat. First of all, this vehicle itself. Why wouldn't you have this stuff enclosed, right? Like you're
We all had the same
exposed to the
reaction.
element.
We all had the
Heat,
same reaction.
cold.
It makes
right?
no sense. It makes no
It
sense.
makes no sense.
It makes no sense. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
Black Sky Legion called it the Rock DS, the don't select. That's what he said DS stands for. Kelosal, what about you? What about the Rock DS?
One of those epic fails.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. I mean, first of all, one of the last 4 words, comfortably. There's nothing comfortable about the driver. He's the only one comfortable because he's enclosed. He or she is enclosed. The person who's mining is out there in a whim, and forgive yourself, but don't wear light armor when you're over there at Aberdeen or things like that, because you're going to get got by the weather.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, this design for this ship.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, CIG, but this is one of those ones you might want to just take one of these and just say Mach 2 is out, and guess what? It's there in a dome, or I'd rather be in a dome.
Yeah.
With 4-wheeler or something like that. This makes no sense.
I saw someone do a design, or what you said, Kelosal. They actually put the second person in the back that was slightly elevated, and they controlled the cannon from there in an enclosed, like you said, dome. The reason why
Like
I
an
have
A-wing.
problems, I have problems with this. You all said very well what the issue is, and it's the exposure to the elements. This is a fail for me on many levels. One level is not just, as you mentioned, temperature and cold, but there's also the dynamics of things such as radiation and a lot of other things that get created as other forms of exposure, not to mention getting picked off at and shot at, a whole lot of other things that can happen that just don't make this attractive for people to go do. I love the fact of being able to say, because somebody even had, I think on a design I saw, they actually had a laser for the pilot, a driver, and a laser for the other person, so that you could have both running simultaneously. That would have made decent sense in that enclosure. As you said, Kelosal, Jade, same thing. But I can't justify it. No matter how many times I've looked at it, there's nothing there to even make me semi-consider it. You could do it right now just for the sake of gameplay, but in real world, they've got to do something with this one. And CIG, we hope you guys are hearing, not only us, but the rest of the community. It's a great idea for 2 people to be able to go out and work. But for one person to be protected, the other one not to be protected, even though there's still vulnerability with that protection. But this is just way too exposed. You'd have to pay me big money to sit out there on that seat. That's all I got to say.
Can you imagine? I believe this came out around Valentine's Day or a holiday. So I think it was a promotion for a couple getting together to mine together and stuff like that.
It's
But
that's a commercial for a funeral, is what it is. It's really a commercial for.
Can you imagine that conversation? Say, honey, do you want to get in the Rock DS and do some mining out in the open like this? And say, why can't you do it?
Yeah. I was outside last time. Yeah, that argument's not going to go that great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jade, I want to say something that you did mention earlier, that rock mining is very popular in the game, and people do, as you mentioned, make decent amounts of money doing rock mining. And even though handheld has been kind of weird recently, this has been like the new thing. Back in the day, handheld was pretty good, but this seems to be the way that a lot of people are easily bringing in money, especially if they don't own a prospector or don't have a group of people who go out in the mole. This is one way for folks to go out there and making a decent amount of money. I don't know, chat. I haven't been out rock mining in a long time. What's a normal good take? Can somebody put in chat? What's a good amount of money that normally comes in on a load when you come in with a rock? I'm very curious to know, like, how much money have you made just doing one load with a rock mining? And we'll see if that pops up in chat. Okay, we're chopping right through here. Let's go ahead and go on to, wow, 200,000 DK? Holy smoke. That's
you can make some money with a rock.
That's a freaking good little
the same thing.
That's almost half of what you freaking make with a Quantanium load and a prospector.
It's a good vehicle to have when you have a white coming.
Jeez, oh Pete. Yeah, there you go, right? Okay. All right. Let's hit the very last one here. Kelosal, this one's on you. Kruger.
Not one of my favorite companies. Okay, all right. So Kruger in 2558, Ozel Kruger opened up a workshop on her home planet of Borea in the Magnus system and called the company Kruger Intergalactic. Her company's ability to deliver first-rate products on time and within budget quickly impressed customers. Still, it was Ozel's good fortune to have opened her operation during the Borea boom that really helped her fledgling company thrive. Building on that significant boost up, Kruger Intergalactic has grown from those humble beginnings into a multi-billion credit business. It specializes in expertly crafted custom machine parts and more recently creating full weapons and ships, including the popular Tiger Strike rotary cannon and the P-52 Merlin snub fighter, both of which are garbage.
Okay, so that's our description on Kruger. Let's take a look at let's talk. We'll talk about both of these within the same context, but we'll do the first one first. Go ahead and read the P-52 there, Kelosal.
All right, so the P-52 Merlin, originally designed to pair with the RSI Constellation, the P-52 Merlin is now available to all pilots. A dedicated parasite fighter, the Merlin is designed to be transported from place to place aboard a larger ship. Boasting a centerline Gatling cannon and a lightning power engine, the Merlin is a fast, maneuverable ship that packs a surprising punch. Ideal for racing, local reconnaissance, and fast combat.
Thanks for the follow.
Let's go ahead and go to the P-72 and then we'll come and talk about both of them.
All right, the P-72 Archimedes. If you're looking for something a little more agile, blaze among the stars with Kruger Intergalactic's P-72 Archimedes. Whether for added security, exploring a system, or simply for the joy of flying, the Archimedes is the perfect companion snub craft. Featuring an extra intake and a lighter hull than its sister ship, the Archimedes delivers exceptional handling and boosts capabilities in a sleek package you'll want along for the ride.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about these two. FC, I'm going to start with you, or talk about either one of them if you'd like to share any thoughts on the P-52 or the P-72.
You know, some of the OGs when it comes to stump fighter. I don't believe there's one for the P-52, but as far as for the P-72, that was one of my first LTI tokens. Like when LTI tokens wasn't really a thing, the P-72 came along, and it was $30 for LTI. You could CC up to almost any ship. And yeah, it was great. I've since ran out of those, so I don't have any of the Kruger ships anymore. But yeah, it had quite a bit of history.
Well, considering the only history was I heard was about it being an LTI token.
Yep.
He didn't talk about flying it or anything, but okay,
no,
I'll buy that for $1.
I did get into it and flew it a couple of times, but it does not have a quantum drive in it, so that's why I didn't mess with it too much.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, Jade, let me go to Kelosal next. Kelosal, what are your thoughts about the P-52 or 72?
The P-52, I say they were trash, but they're not. They're good ships. They really are. Despite the fact that they don't have a quantum drive, I mean, I've flown them during the old iteration, flown them now, flown them especially. They were really popular when the Emerald color scheme came out for the Archimedes, and definitely came really popular when they finally put in the ship-to-ship docking. It's a great ship to have if you're looking for defense. It is a pain. It's just, I would say this is second or third to the other Origin ship, the two-seater, the one that needs not to be named.
Oh, the 85X.
Yes, I mean it is a pain to the 85X. And what's the other one? That's the Racer.
The 50? M50?
Is it the 50?
M50?
That's. I mean, it's just as much as a pain as the M50.
Oh,
it's a very small.
Yeah, small to hit targets wise.
Yeah, very target wise, very small to hit, very agile, very quick, and it's got these ballistic cannons that are freaking eat into you if you let it eat into you. So it's really good for protection, and it's probably be better for if you just want to go ahead and just fly around Area 18 and things like that, because it's that much of a personal ship to use.
Jade, do you see any purposes beyond? I mean, we hear the term parasite ship, but what are some practical for a ship with no quantum drive in it? What do you see the practical uses are for the P-52 or 72? Well,
like Kelosal said, I mean, it's probably a good ship to defend the constellation. I mean, it can be a good distraction. If a single small fighter is going up against the Connie that's fully crewed, and you have somebody in one of these, they're going to have probably a bad day, right? So, I like that this is now something that's viable with the undocking. It has been for a little bit. I also think that it's possible that you could use one of these for like reconnaissance, like. It's small. It's hard to hit. Like Kelosal was saying, Jumptown. We back in the day used to use like the Misk Razor and this ship to like scout, like to see what's going on there. Before we'd send anybody else in, right? So it's definitely got its roles already in the game, and I think there'll be future ones that appear as more things are added, more content's added.
Yeah. I've saw to me a ship like this could. Kelosal said this earlier. It could be a pain in the butt with the right person behind it. This thing could strafe and do some damage. If you've got your freaking what's that thing called, the mule, sitting outside, and you're trying to load it up. If this person gets a good beat on it and fires on it, they can blow it up and be out of there, and you wouldn't be able to get to them. I mean, a good pilot in one of these things, and all they have to do is drop off in orbit and come down unsuspecting, small, hard to pick up on scanners. Nobody's going to be expecting it, and it could be in and out quickly. I also like it, other than for defending, as you mentioned, Jade, for defending ships like the Aquila, if you're doing science or something like that. It's also a great escape ship if necessary, especially because it's quick and you can get out of a place very fast. I remember when the Carrack first came out, instead of using the Pisces, I ended up using this ship as the ship to go down and look for a good landing location for the Carrack. It was very fast to get down out of orbit. Person was able to track me very easily. Obviously loads back into the ship very quickly. So as long as you're localized, it's great. Now, one other question about the ship to everybody, whoever wants to answer this can answer it. Do you think this ship became the forgotten ship because it was attached to the Connie? People didn't really buy it per se, other than like fastcart said, than for an LTI token. Did it become the forgotten ship because they were stuck to the Connies for so many years and you couldn't undock them, and you just it almost became a hood ornament, pardon the expression.
I get that feeling because I had the P-72 with the Phoenix, and I never used it. I was sometimes look at that door and say, oh yeah, there's a ship back there. I didn't carry on about my business, So, yeah, I definitely forgot about them.
Yeah, so I'm going to push back on that because you could have flown her without flying the Connie.
True, but my point was, and I get what you class. Most people still got it because they bought a Connie more than because they bought that. So I guess I'm referring more to the Connie people. Is it just like
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay,
I'm
go ahead.
getting
Okay,
there.
gotcha.
I think she was the forgotten ship because she had no quantum drive.
Mm,
And a lot of people don't fly the Argo ships,
because
except
of
for
that.
Lowell or things like that. They don't fly the SUV or the things that are already out right now because they simply don't have a quantum drive, and of course they don't have a major usage. We do know that the Merlin does have a use. She just doesn't have a quantum drive. So imagine if you go out there and you probably can take out a turret. And you're at a land base and you're taking out nothing but turrets are on there first. You're sending that Merlin first to take out a turret and that's and coming back up. But for those people, that could be one use for the Merlin other than the defense, right? But she has no quantum drive. So a lot of people saw no need for her as far as longevity wise. She was just a short usage ship.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Jade, you got any thoughts about it?
Yeah. I have a P52. I think I earned it from referrals. I don't actually own a Quani, but I do have it. And it's small. It fits into a C2. It fits into a lot of a lot of ships. You can have that same symbiotic relationship with other ships if you need it. Because it is relatively small when the wings are folded. I think it's kind of forgotten because of just what Kelosal said. There's no quantum drive, and right now the way the game is set up, there's really no reason to take that down from a station to like Lorville, But who knows what the future holds? Maybe there's going to be more of a reason that you'd want to fly this ship.
I used it once at Korea, believe it or not. Had a crime stat. Person flew me in on the Connie, and I went back in the back, got in this, and cannons couldn't hit me. Flew right up to the station, got in, got out, and then was able to get back in and fly back and reset up with that other ship later on. It was for the sake of doing it, you know what I mean? But it was instead of getting out and EVAing and trying to go up that way. Because the ship is so small and agile, I was able to get up underneath, get in there, boom, and it worked out great. I am curious to see where CIG, again, what their real vision of this is, because just hearing Parasite ship, I know we've heard it talk about it being there to defend the Connie, but I am curious to see whether or not there is some more interesting things that CIG may create as to why you would pick this ship over some other ship to do some things. But,
right. In
Can I say
addition,
one last thing before we move on?
Sure.
I do love the design. It's very unique in Star Citizen with the whole cutout thing in the center and everything. It's very sleek. I do like the way it looks.
Yeah. Kelosal said it earlier. These things are fast. They're really fast. Were you going to say, Kelosal?
I do hope they consider putting in at least a cargo space for the ship. Not anything drastically significant that is going to impair the speed of the ship. There's something to where maybe you can put it's something a little bit, maybe less than that, maybe one. I mean, or half of it. Something where you can at least put a gun on it, or at least maybe bring back a small package, like a drug package, like that, that you can put in your pockets or things like that, because that would definitely help out at least the impression of this ship. It's a great ship, and boy, would it be nice if Kruger put out bigger ships with the same design. I mean, I think we see this type of design with the Mandalorian, right?
That I'm looking at their lore, and they moved, I guess, sort of recently, but not like super recently, from their original system that they were in, which was Magnus, which kind of went into sort of lawlessness, to where they are now, which is in Castra. And I'm thinking, that might facilitate them being able to make bigger ships, because they were mostly just a parts manufacturer for RSI. So maybe that lore is like pointing to a future where we have more Kruger intergalactic ships that are larger than these.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice design. Nice looking design, man. One of my favorite designs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I am curious. It will be interesting. I like your idea you mentioned about Kelosal, about some form of being able to carry something in it. I'm looking at some of the stuff that you guys are putting in chat. And I know a lot of times one of the first things we talk about is shields, but I do want to remind everybody that CIG has talked about that destroying ships is not going to be an easy thing. Even smaller ships, you can do it, but you're going to spend a lot of time doing it. And I think CIG is going to balance out the idea of, is it worth my time to destroy the ship? Is disabling it enough? If that's all I need to accomplish my goal, destroying you'll be able to do it. But they said that it will take a little bit. So even though this says it has a size 1 shield in it, armor's not in the game yet. We don't know how armor is going to balance. So don't get me wrong. If you hit it with a size 5, I get it, gang. Okay, it'll probably blow up. But my point is that it's really going to be interesting to see how durable ships become, even small ships like this, because CIG does want there to be some aspect of durability. They want you to be actually doing things like repair, salvage, which is a part of a game mechanic. Just blowing a ship up kind of kills those areas. And so insurance, there's a whole lot of dynamics that CIG wants to incorporate into it. So I'm curious to see, for even small ships like this, what the durability factor will be. And maybe these ships can take punishment. Right now, we know they can't, but maybe they may be take a licking and keep on ticking more than we think they will later on. But we'll see how that goes. You gonna say something?
No, I was saying, which bring me to thought. Doesn't Kruger also make armor in game? Do they make heavy set armor?
They make well, they're part of RSI's supply chain, and they make like components. So maybe they make shields, but I don't know about armor.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think about Greycat. So my mistake.
Well, I'm just looking at this logo. I know there's a company in there.
Oh, you think about the triangular logo? Nope, that's
right.
That's on the. Isn't that on the CDF armor? I know what you're talking about though. That triangle, the upside down triangle.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'm just.
Yeah, I think it's the CDF thing. I think. Thanks for putting those numbers in, Go Mob. I see you guys are trying to get us to know what the speeds are on it, and he says 1300. That's freaking fast.
That's fast. That's like Herald fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like second to the Herald if it's at 1300.
She's a bug, especially if one person is out of his pilot seat and that ship is coming at you and slows down while you're out of your pilot seat and shoot those ballistics at you, you're screwed by the time you get back in that pilot seat. So
that is.
Don't throw it.
That is.
I mean,
fast.
CIG, it's all about give and take, right? Like it doesn't have a quantum drive, but it's really fast. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Okay. All right. I think we do have. Oh, who was that who just sent us a little something there? McComics, thank you for that follow. Also, Big Pappy Clint, sorry we missed you. Thank you as well for that follow. We appreciate you all for that. There was somebody else who I missed earlier. Harvey P. Also missed you earlier. Thank you for the follow.
Oh yeah, shout out to Harvey P. That's somebody that I met in the PTU.
Oh, cool.
Who was very interested in watching the show.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, well, welcome,
buddy. Welcome.
We do have one question, gang. This is from Pops in Space. It says, because the BMM is coming, do you think there will be any synergy between the BMM and the Defender? Was that from last week or this? No, that's from this week.
No, that's from today. I think we'll talk about the whole.
How did we get on the Banu?
I think we're talking about the whole pirate, not pirate. The parasite thing that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, but that's not a parasite. But that's not a parasite ship. It's not a parasite for the Banu ship. It's a hangared ship. Pops, I get what you're asking. We don't know what that is. They've talked about some weird synchronicity. We don't know what that is. There is some lore aspect to it. That whenever Banu Merchantman went out. Citizen Shenanigans, thank you for that gifted sub to Harvey
Thank
P.
you.
Harvey
Thank
P.
you.
Way to go. Thank you. There was some piece there about the ships. There's a lot of weird lore about the Banu ships, and I know fastcart and Jade probably have this locked down way more than I do because I forget more now. It's been so much time has gone by.
I'm the same way.
But I know that there was this, and maybe Jade, maybe you can help. There was something about whenever Merchantman went out. The reason why it's called the Defender is because that is the purpose. Even though a lot of times people use it as a fighter, its true purpose is to be that ship that defends the Banu Merchantman when it goes out.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, and CIG hinted at there being a special symbiosis between the two, and that like they would work together,
right?
As like a collective defense for the merchant.
I mean, there's supposed to be a whole hangar for the Defender in the merchantman. That's part of the reason why I grew up. But yeah.
Well, no, I mean, there's a hangar there, but to be honest with you, I always hoped that it was going to hold 2 ships, not 1. That's just me, because I feel the same way about the Polaris. I don't like the fact that the Polaris holds 1 ship. To me, I wish they were big enough that there were 2 ships in them. And I always hoped that the Banu Merchantman had a hangar on the left and right or something. Or I even thought about maybe it's stuck on the sides with magnetic things. I don't know, but I always wanted more than 1 ship that would defend it.
Oh, Griffin, if you want the Merchantman to get even bigger, I'm okay with that.
I'm just saying.
Well, you know what? I'm just to stay on target. You can pack in the BMN with a whole bunch of Merlins.
Yeah.
And Archimedes.
Yeah. But to Jade's point, there was supposed to be some, we don't know what it is. We don't know if it's scanning, some type of defense, something, because the Banu even have, right, Kelosal, they've got that weird thing with shielding with the person on the right and the person on the left.
Think it is.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff that goes on with the Banu stuff. But
I think this is speculation. This is nothing that CIG said. I'm just making that clear. Right. But I think what it might be that for like maybe some distance away from the merchantman, the defender might be able to extend that shield out somehow.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that would be really cool. Just saying, CIG, if you haven't figured it out yet,
here's an idea.
Really cool.
Here's an idea for you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right, gang. Well, small company, so smaller show today, but we covered a lot of good stuff here today. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit more about Esperia and Gatac and Greycat and Kruger. Maybe even have a little more appreciation for these smaller companies, because they've got some cool ships out there, and I'm sure most of you guys out there own at least one of these ships, or at least waiting on one of these ships to come out. I'm definitely, you were mentioned earlier about people having accounts, fastcart. As you know, I do have a alien account, which is
alien account. Yeah,
it goes to what Jade was saying. It's like the collector's account, and that's all that's there. That those alien tax ships.
I ain't got that kind of money. Good on you, though.
It's my museum. I call it my luxury museum. That's what I look at it as, is my museum.
It's Silas Croner from
There you go.
Consolidated Outland.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Origin people, they want to dip their hands into everything they touch, everything.
Jade,
all the little ships.
Jade, the commoners speak again. The commoners speak again, Jade. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Haters gonna hate, right?
I'm still trying to get into the snob because my merchantman, I'm trying to pass my merchantman as a luxury ship. So
listen, until I walk on it and look at it and inspect it, it ain't a luxury ship. It's a pretty ship. It's a pretty ship. Okay. I will give it that. It is pretty. Okay.
Are you considering letting people into snobs though? If it looks really nice inside?
You know what? If the snobs organization feels that it should be brought in, I'll go with the vote. How's that sound? Okay. I'll go with the vote. I mean, I own one, so I have nothing to lose. But you see what Kelosal threw up behind him, right? Okay. So I'm not going to even go there today. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about what we got going on this week. Fastcart. Talk about Thursday,
we have our weekly talk show called Soul Talk. We talk about Star Citizen with the community. Anyone can come into Discord and talk with us. We basically covered the ISC and Star Citizen Live and whatever else CIG puts out that week. So yeah, that's Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UTC.
Alrighty, and I'll talk about Soul Voices. As you guys know, Thursday is our roundtable discussion for the community, and Saturdays is our one-on-one on Soul Voices, where you get to come in one-on-one and talk to us about stuff that's going on in Spectrum and Reddit in the gaming industry. We had Sazagelian yesterday. Had great time with him. Next week we're going to be back, and I think is it next week? Yeah, next week the Player Haters are back next week, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they'll be back as our guests next week. So that'll be on Saturdays, 3 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget, as you guys know, Soul Citizens has become a part of Podsat Saturdays. 3 p.m. kicks off with us, 3 p.m. Eastern time with Soul Voices. 6 p.m. We move over to support Paul Shelley and the folks at Astro Pub with the Captain's Table. And last but not least, after that at 9 p.m. Eastern, we jump over and support the folks over with Relay So Saturday afternoon and evening is full of nothing but great Star Citizen discussion. So hopefully you guys can join us for that. And Jade, could you talk about next week's show?
Yes. Next week's show is for all you OGs out there because it's going to talk about Origins from Wing Commander to Freelancer. Games I never ever played. Sunday.
That were around before your time, I think. I think these are before your time.
Yeah. Sunday, next
Jade
Sunday,
makes me feel
8 p.m.
old.
Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Jade makes me feel old, fastcart. She makes me feel old. Kelosal.
Hey, you think I make you feel old? Yo Meg. You know,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
no longer the youngest. So.
That's true. That's true. She's got the award now.
Yeah.
Did you play any of them, Kelosal? Did you do Wing Commander, Freelancer,
Of course,
Starlancer?
I still have some of the floppy disks I'm too ashamed to break out.
Another old man in the room. Another
I'm
old man.
serious. I keep all of my. I am a hoarder of stuff because what I usually do is when I buy stuff, including my Tobii eye tracker and things like that, I
You
keep the
all
boxes.
I do too.
So
do
mean,
too.
I kept all of the boxes. I got them in a box. I still have the instruction books and everything like that. So yes,
Wow.
absolutely.
Wow.
I'm going to be
I
interested.
think,
in this
my
stuff.
oldest box is it might be Dark Forces. I forget. Yeah.
Wow,
But
that goes back.
I keep my boxes too.
FC, did you
Yeah,
play
man,
any of
pull
those
it out.
games? Wing Commander, Freelancer, Starlancer?
I didn't have the money back then. I went with LucasArts games, the X-Wing and Typewriter. And,
I did too.
And I went with those instead of
I hate to say
Wing
it,
Commander.
FC, I'm in the club with you. The only
Yeah.
one I did was Wing Commander. Then the LucasArts stuff got me, and I went that route, and I didn't do. And I hate the fact. In fact, I've tried to find those other games. They're extremely difficult to get now. Starlancer,
Oh, it's on
Freelancer,
GOG.
and what's the other one? Kelosal. There's a fourth one, right?
Privateer.
Privateer. I missed all of them. I missed all three of those. I only got to do the first one, which was Wing Commander. So
Mhm.
those of you who are go ahead, FC.
No, go ahead.
Oh, those of you who are into that, you want to know about the earlier games that Chris Roberts did. Not only that, but you're also going to see the influence from those games that have carried over into Star Citizen. And so we're going to be doing that on next week. So hopefully you guys can join us for that. And
Yeah, this is when you need Ben Lesnick on.
we
Whoa.
actually have an invite out to him, and we're hoping, but I ain't saying nothing yet because we don't know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do want to say one last thing before we leave, but remember, you don't have to turn off the red light.
So we also sell merchandise. Those of you who may be interested in some Soul Citizens merchandise, we have shirts and mugs and cups and shot glasses and water bottles and a whole bunch of cool stuff if you want to support us that way. And of course, if you want to look cool, I was hoping that we were having CitizenCon this year because then people could have had this stuff and it'd been really cool to have like our viewers and they'd be like walking around with Soul Citizen stuff, but we're going to have to wait for that. But some of you have been sending in pictures of stuff that you've won and stuff that you bought, and we really do appreciate that. So thank you all for doing that. In fact, last week, we even showed off one of our mods. Look at that. Ops Chief, he's a proud Soul Citizen shirt owner,
Hey, Ops
and
Chief.
he's working today. I'm embarrassing him right now because he's modding right now, but he looks really good in that shirt there. So
Nice.
we always appreciate when you guys send the photos in and let us know that the stuff made it to you in a timely manner and that you're happy with the product. So that is that. Let's see. Other than that, we already called off everything. We named everything. I just forgot to push the button earlier. I think
Don't forget, we're doing a raid this time.
I'm already on it. Thank you. I don't forget on Sundays. It's just Saturdays, fast card. I haven't gotten that old yet, but I'm getting there.
No, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I know. I am getting there. I will admit that. Okay, well, anyway, guys, thank you all so much for being here with us. To fastcart, to Jade, to Kelosal for sharing their wealth of information and knowledge. We appreciate all of them, and we appreciate you guys for being here. Don't forget, check us out on Thursday, check us out on Saturday, and hopefully you can make it back next week for Origins from Wing Commander to Freelancer. Hopefully we'll have a good time for that. We are going to be rating. I love the fact of who you picked here, Ops Chief. Poodoo Simon. Those of you Star Wars fans will appreciate Poodoo. Poodoo Simon. So when you get this over to Poodoo Simon, give a shout out from the Soul Citizens. Let them know that you're there. And if you like what you see, of course, follow them. And hopefully you guys will see us sometime this week and next weekend. So until then, as always, oh God, here he's going to sing. Don't put on the red light. Peace, love, and soul. We'll see you guys real soon. Take care.